Ladies and gentlemen, give it up, it's Monique! Woo!
Thanks very much. Good morning, everyone. Oh, I got some mic feedback there. Today we're going to talk about strategies for working in a multi-screen world, why it matters, why you care, and some approaches that you can take with email, social media, and website design. So, as you all know, technology changes. It changes very quickly. Even if we think about our own morning, we probably all checked our email. Maybe we looked at photos on Instagram, posted a status update on Facebook or Twitter. Maybe we pulled up a Google map to find the location of the event. We all probably booked our travel or registered for this event using a desktop, a laptop, mobile, tablet. We probably didn't use the phone or go in person. Maybe we texted a friend to say we were going to be late or that we had saved them a seat. If we think about the tools that we have access to, want to access, need to access, even in just any given morning, this is really shocking because we haven't lived with these tools for very long. The World Wide Web is only 25 years old. If we jump back in time 7 years, we have a handful of social media tools to think about as organizations. And these tools were mostly accessed from a desktop or a laptop computer. We didn't have the iPhone in Canada until July 2008. This has really changed the world in which we operate in. This, by the way, is the social media starfish that was developed by Vancouverite Darren Barefoot, who many of you are familiar with from Capulet Communications, and Robert Scoble. So when Eli sang my praises as a technical expert.
We unplugged it.
Oh, good. So it's kind of convenient we were talking about going back and forth. So we're back in time to 2007. We're going to come forward to today right now. And we have this conversation prism that apparently all my slides are going to say, please clean Google Spreadsheet. But aside from that, what we're looking at in 7 years is this explosion of tools and apps that are accessible on multiple devices. So we have Facebook with 400 million plus users. 48% of them are accessing Facebook on a mobile. We've got YouTube, second largest search engine, where 24 hours of video is uploaded every minute. 3 years ago, it's only been 3 years ago that Instagram launched. Google Plus pages. If we think 3 weeks ago, Google got a patent on a camera that fits on a contact lens. 1 week ago, Amazon set up an entire section on its website dedicated to wearable technology. So we shouldn't underestimate the retail opportunities that these internet giants are seeing in wearables. So Google Glasses, connected wristbands, connected cars, connected drones. You can see in the bottom corner here, this is the rover app-controlled spy tank with night vision. So all of this contributes to robust online growth. It looks really awkward. It looks kind of funny. Some of us, even when cell phones and smartphones came out, who's going to want that? Well, that's who wants that, right? The graph shows this emergence and rapid adoption of tablets and mobile. This isn't going away. There are 5 times as many smartphones sold per day as children born. These numbers are huge. But what is the so what, right? What's the so what for your organization? Well, for that we can turn to Google Analytics, free tool. Most of us have it installed on our website. Under the audience section, the mobile reports, we have an overview that tells us what percentage of our existing audience comes from mobile and tablet. We're looking here at an arts organization that I work with. A third of their traffic in 1 year, it's gone from 10% to 33% is on mobile and tablet. That accounts for 15% of their revenue. According to Mary Meeker's Internet Trends report, anywhere from 15% of internet traffic is coming from mobile and tablet. This is the average around the world. With organizations that I work with, I'm seeing anywhere from 10% to 50% of their traffic is coming from non-desktop or laptop computers. Under the device view, so one report down, this is a modest environmental nonprofit that I work with. We're looking at a very small sample size, 500 visits or 123 sessions is what Google calls these now. And this accounts for 17% of their traffic. They don't have a mobile optimized site, and there is 17% of that traffic is still trying to access the site on a mobile device or a tablet. The crazy thing is this is 48 different devices. What does 48 different devices mean? It means 37 different screen resolutions. So this multi-screen world that we live in has complexities that we haven't had to deal with as much as now. But this is not insurmountable. The thing we want to think about is designing for the experience, not for the device. So what does that mean? It means that we need to think about what people want to do, not what the technology can do. So if you think about this, the common thing that people are doing, they're going to start reading your email message maybe on their phone, they're going to finish on an iPad, follow up with something on a desktop or a laptop computer. 90% of people are doing this, according to the Google multi-screen report. They're accomplishing a single device across, or a single task across devices. So for us, that means we need to think about what do people want to do on our website. Well, I want to read an article. I want to share that link. I want to donate. I want to sign up for your email newsletter. A communication strategy for a multi-screen world means that this experience is seamless across devices. It doesn't matter if it is laptop, mobile, wearable. What matters is, can I read that article? Can I share that link? Can I donate? Can I subscribe? So you need to think about where's the best place to start. I think it's with your website, home base. You want to think about having a responsive website. What that means is that it's going to automatically repackage the content depending on the device that is trying to view it. So this is not a separate M-dot website. You're not maintaining two sets of content. It's one set of content. It's one URL, one website, but multiple displays of that depending on the screen size. What I like about this World Wildlife Fund example is they've got large buttons. Very simple, clear calls to action. Donate, adopt. Those are the two big colored buttons. The text is bold. It's easy to read, regardless of device. You know exactly what organization this is. And the images tell a story. There's some emotional resonance to it. They don't feel like stock photography. So for your site, responsive website checklist. The first benefit, of course, is higher conversions. So that Google multi-screen report, 67% of users are more likely to engage in e-commerce on a mobile-friendly website. So you don't want to be leaving money on the table. And again, the idea here is you're designing for the experience. The experience on mobile is a one-thumb experience. On tablet, it might be a two-thumb experience. So it means that you need to think about, it has to scroll up and down. This is an easy action with our thumb. Doesn't mean you can't have the occasional slider where you're sliding across, but it's not that pinch zoom, and it's not the drag and pull across in order to see content that's being cut off. It means big, clear, clickable targets, because thumbs are kind of dumb. They're not as sneaky as mice. So we want those big targets, lots of white space, not a whole bunch of links that are crammed together that are difficult to click in because it's frustrating to end up in the wrong spot on a mobile website. That Google report I was citing, 78% of users want to accomplish a task or find what they're looking for on a mobile site in 1 to 2 clicks. That means you have to start simplifying forms, simplifying the processes. Forms on a small screen are really frustrating because there are too many fields. The fields are really small. We accidentally click on the wrong thing. We lose the data that our little tiny thumbs have so carefully entered. Even more frustrating is when you see a phone number and you try to click it, but you've done something really lovely in the design where the phone number has dots or lovely spaces between it. So the technology doesn't understand that that's a phone number and that I want to call that. So there's some really easy things that you can think about even in your own designs. And then from a very practical standpoint, a responsive website means that you have that one website. You don't have this siloed off M-dot version where you're maintaining 2 sets of content. What that means is that in the social sharing world, when I want to share an article or a campaign landing page, I'm not splitting that traffic to one version goes to a mobile site, one version goes to the desktop site. It means that Google and other search engines aren't indexing that traffic and also getting confused about where that traffic should be going. So you're going to simplify that process, both for yourself in terms of effectively managing that content and helping people share those links. So the next thing to consider is email. Right? Not only do you want a functional website that generates revenue, you want a website that does the next best thing, that generates leads. People who love your stuff so much that they say, yes, I'm going to give you my email address in exchange for valuable, relevant content, to give you the chance to continue communicating with me. So your marketing strategy needs to have some component that's continually building that list. Maybe you're going to do that through social media. Maybe you put your notification that you can sign up for the newsletter in your email signature. Maybe you take the nationalparks.org example where you offer an incentive. Hey, subscribers get this free report that you can download. So you want to think about the content that you have and how do you create these little incentives. I recommend that you re-examine the subscribe process from a mobile user's perspective, from a tablet perspective. Is it clear that you have the newsletter? Can I sign up, or is that form way too difficult? And then think it all the way through. What happens when people land on your thank you page? Thanks for subscribing, right? Is there a secondary call to action? Do you show them some great photos of your previous days of action? Do you send them to Instagram or to follow you on Facebook? Is there some sort of reward or surprise or delightful thing that says, hey, thank you for subscribing, rather than text that says, thank you for subscribing? You want to create that reward. You want to give people an idea of what can they do next, especially if that is a thank you for donating page. Do we have a fancy infographic of donations in action, or of volunteers, or something that helps, again, create that sense of motivation or inspiration or reward, or provide something that people can share online? So once you have those emails, the thing to do is you need to think about mobile email templates. So you can create responsive email templates the same way that we talked about responsive website designs. So, and you should, because 50% of those emails are being opened on mobile devices. If we look at some examples in my own inbox, you can see, the occasional special character can be helpful. It's a thank you for donating email or a member appreciation email. Don't overuse those, but they do grab your attention. And the thing that I'm seeing is a lot of organizations are not taking advantage of the pre-header text. I'm going to say it again, design for the experience. The experience on mobile is we have that little descriptive blurb that tells us about what is in the email. Most people have this, view this email in your browser. That gets pulled in because the only thing in our email templates is that little bit of text at the top that says, hey, did something go wrong? View this in your browser. Right? So we can do things that involve copy that don't necessarily have to involve technical people that help improve this experience. So this is really valuable real estate. Fluvog is using it to display copyright 2014. You can absolutely do better. You want those emails to appear relevant, to be valuable, and to have some sort of urgency to it. The Sierra Club example is actually a climate day of action on May 10th. Have no idea from the pre-header text or from the quick first view when you open that message. So the mantra for both websites and email is one eye, one thumb, one arm. One eye, presumably because the other is like on traffic. Don't do that. One thumb, right? We've got big clickable targets. The guideline is that, things that are viewable from one arm's length. So guidelines for font, it means your text and your visual cues are large enough to see at an arm's length. So 17 to 22 pixels for font, 47 pixels squared for that target area for buttons. Don't crowd too many text links there. We talked about the pre-header text. We talked about making sure there's a way for people to subscribe and following that through with something engaging on the thank you pages. Other ideas, right? Campaigns to watch, tip of the week, fundraiser toolkit to download, progress reports, fancy infographics, right? There are a ton of things that you can do if you think through that process all the way. Social media. Once you have dealt with the website and email, turn to social media. The nice thing about social media is it is already optimized for a multi-screen world. We can view these tools on multiple devices. So your job here is really about content creation. Surfrider Foundation, they're my leading experts here in social media. They keep their posts really tight and succinct. The images are large. They're used across the board, even on Twitter. So the thing about this is you want to search for Twitter lead generation cards. Within Twitter, you can upload an image, but you can also subscribe to an email address. You can donate to a campaign. So these are new tools. So your social media checklist, you want to invest in good photos. You want to assume those photos are going to get shared. So when you're loading that to Facebook or to Instagram, have a little blurb, include the campaign URL, create this little ecosystem of those things. Of course, leave room for the retweet. Use hashtags, great consistent way to gain exposure, gain followers. Tap into existing ones like Fundraising Friday, Throwback Thursday. Put up images of your previous events or other things that are related to your campaigns. Tap into third-party apps and tools. We've got a ton of them. Maybe if you're promoting the event, you want to promote it pre-event, during the event, after the event. Take those photos of the event and put it into slideogram, flipogram, things that work cross devices. Maybe you want to create some little, Lou cards, physical products that come out of that digital stuff. I'll leave these ones here. They're for Fireworks Factory, which is a digital marketing conference happening in Pender Island. Charity Water's Paul Young is going to be speaking, which is why I mentioned that. So your plan, what are you going to do? I'm going to share the slides so you've got your plan. But next week, because of course today is Friday, no working on the weekends, what you're going to do is look at and use your own website. Not just does it look pretty on mobile and tablet, but can you actually use it? Can you complete a task? Remember, you want to be able to complete it in 1 to 2 steps. Sign up for the newsletter, try to donate, read an article, try to share it. Can you do those tasks? While you're doing that, make a list. What needs to be simplified? What needs to be optimized? You've got those Google Analytics reports or whatever web traffic reports, start looking at the mobile reports. You want to understand the baseline of what your mobile and tablet traffic are doing today on the site. So you can start testing things that you're going to do next month, like playing around a little bit with the CSS. You're going to increase the font size, increase the size of buttons, simplify some of the forms. Do those things increase conversions? You're going to look in your Google Analytics reports to decide that. You're going to make changes. Do they work? Yes, we're going to make more changes. We're going to think about our social media. The social media profiles, the cover image and the URL, that URL doesn't need to go to our homepage. There's nothing that says it has to do that. Why don't we start thinking about, can we put in our campaign URL? Especially on Instagram, because URLs are hard to share in the little blurb section. So we're going to say, oh yeah, hey, you want to know more about that campaign, click on the link in our profile. Right? We're going to think about what is it that people want to do? How can we make this easier, 1 to 2 steps? And then, of course, by December, so 6 months, you're going to have done all those things. You're going to be looking at those reports. You're going to have tested things. You'll know what else you can change. And if you've thought about content, how do we get bigger images? How do we think about creating snippets of content that we're going to use for email subject lines, captions on photos, tweets, Instagram, things that are less than 114 characters so that there's that room for the retweet, right? If we have those content snippets available, then suddenly those small screens, those wearable technologies, we've got content that's available for that. So I absolutely know that you can do it, and if you need help, these are my contact details. Thank you.